review of literature not or not, right? That's your question, right? I would like to answer like by saying grounded theory, the approach, the grounded theory, better to avoid a detailed review of literature because that will definitely have an influence on our analysis because majority of the part we are doing it in a subjective way, right? So that will influence. But for other methods, it is better to have the review of literature. There is no harm in doing the review of literature for the phenomenology or the other methods.
Regarding narrative, this any English professionals we need to hire, or whether we can write it
We usually give almost after what we are doing for English expert ka to we are giving for the thing. They check and give the certificate, right? So for a narrative, it is better to give, I will say. Any other question? Yes.
Sir, can you just brief on the formulation of research questions?
Formulation of research questions for what? In the qualitative one. Okay. So how to formulate the questions? Okay. Like with any thoughts, it can start. If the only thing that the area should be not that explored. Okay. So least explored area we can take. For example, of if you want to take this group example as a live one and the experiences of you people of attending the conference. That can be done in also in a qualitative way. Okay. The formulation of research question must be like what we have seen. I have shown you number of many examples, right? You got an idea, might have got an idea in that too. There's no any as such difference with this. Here is the thing, an approach to so as such the study was not formulated like for it because this was a part of her thesis writing, right? So in the thesis it was not approved like this. What we did? A qualitative study on lived-in experience and coping strategy of COVID-19 positive individual in India. That was the research problem we developed. But to make it more catchy, because for in a publishing point of time, right? So then we added this line that we got it from the patient, the participants were betting. Like, I might catch this infection again and this time I will not survive. So it is not required that that lines you cannot add prior, right? Only this thing, the qualitative study on lived-in experiences and coping strategies, that can be a research problem. Like that you can write. Or do you have any idea now? I will help you to make a research problem.
Sir,
quantitative study.
how we have to when we are stating the problem where we wanted to do, how we wanted to do, so that component in the qualitative study, which are the points we have to keep in mind to make a statement problem?
Okay. So like what we focus on other things like,
yes.
Okay, an exploratory study. So what is the type of study that we can specify? Okay, and who is the population that we can specify. If you look this title, you can have a type of study is mentioned, and what we are focusing on the variables, not in a quantitative form. At least we are saying there is a research variable like lived-in experiences and coping strategy. That variable is there, and among whom that population is there, and the setting that also we have mentioned. So those all the points we can include whenever you frame the questions.
One more thing, sir.
Yeah.
Regarding this topic has been discussed, right? To assess the effectiveness or the change in the psychological pattern, psychological effect of the participants who are participating in this research from these 7 days.
Okay.
Not regarding knowledge, but psychological
Change.
Psychological aspect में क्योंकि we are in a different fields we are working, and can we assess the psychological change in a behavior or
change? It is assessing psychological change and all. It is going to be very difficult. Only thing what I can say that the what is the experiences and what the behavior change we can check once you go back and all thing. Only we can go and interview them. That is the only the best way. Otherwise, we can go and have a one-to-one session, or we can even see ask them how was your overall experiences, and what are the major thing you have achieved from this and that you have introduced in your area of practice. That all thing we can assess. Okay, the experience in the form like that we can have the psychological impact or psychological change and all. I don't know how we will assess that.
How do we, you said we do purposive sampling and you will select those who can, talk more and give an elaborate thing. So how do you select those, how do you do the sampling that way?
No, it is not like, why only a reason I said that it can be why, because purposefully why we are doing to get a more data. If there is a chance of, in that case, the bias, somebody told in between, it is not a bias, right? What we want to understand, how, for example, if the lived in experience, who are experienced, you are better, very rich data at the end I want my study, right? I want a thick description of their experiences. If I'm not getting from any participants that, then I won't be able to conclude what was the experiences. For example, if I ask how was the workshop, some may be saying that it was good, okay, but what I will analyze with that data, what I will use, I cannot use that it is good. So better if I'm getting a thick description of that this all thing what we learned from today, or this all thing was there, and the thick description will always help us to develop and make a summary. So it is better to have a purposefully sampling. That's what we said.
How do we know that? I mean, who will give a thick description?
That is one of the limitation what we are also facing. We cannot understand. Some participants are very good. They share their experience, but in a very elaborative way. So if if some participants may not, then we have to move on to the next.
So is there any limit? I mean, we can skip, like we have to.
We are not skipping, but we are following the basic questions. Now all the questions we will ask.
No, sir. We can skip the
Participants.
that we have collected from 20.
No. Why to skip the participants? We have collected their data, right? Better not to skip. And you all of you know about data saturation also, right? That's what I do. So basic understanding I hope you had about data saturation and all.
Questions.
So
Questions.
any other thing?
So yes, the
tool
bias
for
which
this.
I said, no bias, like if I like the answer, then I'll consider that in my study. If I do not like the answer, I do not consider. So that
that
kind
is-
of biasness may be there.
No, better to be you adhere to your research question. Then bias can be eliminated. If you're focusing and adhering to your own particular research questions, and then you will not have that bias.
Okay, questions. Prepare a questionnaire so that we'll get a feedback.
No, research question. What
Research
the
question.
purpose of the
feedback
research?
is positive,
Focus
I'll
on
consider
that.
yours. If hers is negative, I will not consider her.
That will be a bias again.
That is what I'm asking.
So we cannot, if it is striking point, as a researcher, it is our duty to report that too. Do not neglect those points. That also need to be
जिसका
reported.
नेगेटिव है उसका भी रिपोर्ट में चढ़ाएंगे.
Is there a limited number of questions should be there in that tool for when we are going for
Okay,
the
when we develop an interview guide, there is no as such any, because my topic was only on data analysis in qualitative research, so many things I couldn't cover. But their question is about the interview guide when we develop. As such, there is no criteria for any number of questions in the interview guide. Better, I will say that to have at least the around 15, minimum 15 questions on your hand, then go. And we don't need to adhere on that 15. Okay, sometime in a one interview if you go, then all 15 they will not answer. We have to go again and take their permission and take a comfortable time. So then we can do it later. So there is no as such any number. That's what we are subjective and we are flexible in nature, right? The qualitative research. So we can add, if you find more questions to be added after a first interview, we can add more questions, then go to the next participants or to the same participants again. We can collect the data. There's
about
no any fixed number.
validity, reliability of the question? What we
Yeah. I will come to your her question. Madam, question is again the validity and reliability of the questions. I believe there is no need to ensure the reliability of the questionnaires for qualitative research. But content validity, it is better to do no need to calculate the content validity index and all. Subject experts can be circulated with the demographic data to hoga hi hoga na, along with the interview guide. We can, for the content validity, we can go. Better, no need to do the reliability of those things. That is no need, useless.
So what is the good sample size for a qualitative
Okay,
research?
so sample size.
Is it
Underline. Okay, please continue.
yeah, is it fixed like we can have like in quantitative researches we generally take a fixed size 100 or more than 100, but in this I generally see it as 5, 7, 11. So
देखो, in qualitative
Sample
research,
calculation.
thank you for your question. And in qualitative, there are no any fixed until data saturation reach. That is considered as the sample size. Okay, then we will stop. Okay, for you, all of you know about data saturation, right? Okay, so same for her experience, and if I taken an interview of around 10 people, I'm not getting any new findings or new verbatim. All are saying the same thing. Then better to stop. So usually the sample size varies from a 10 to 15. That is what usually in the qualitative. There is no any as such sample size calculation formula for qualitative research. We can stop once the data saturation is achieved.
any other queries?
Any other queries? I am very happy to see the
Sir, regarding
such an interesting
this research, sir, you have selected only 13 patients, 13 persons
Yeah.
as your sample. Whether it was sufficient for the result?
data saturation is over, so then that was enough. Then we stopped after 13. So we can say that that is sufficient as the data saturation is achieved. Like that we can conclude. This may be after the interview of the 13 the participants, the data saturation was achieved, then we stopped. So once the data saturation is achieved, that can be then we can stop. Any other question?
these 13 participants also, they might not have had just one interview, they might have had repeated
interviews.
Still the saturation
Yeah.
data was
No, I'm not saying only 13th interview nahi bola na. Okay, so then it is not the 13th interview I am saying. We had a number of interviews, maybe 2, 3 with the same participants. Okay, so it is not like only just 13 interview we have done with the 13 participants. No, not at all. There were a number of interviews, different interviews we have conducted. Then the data saturation was achieved. Then we stopped. Any other? And ma'am was asking some of what it is not related to qualitative research. Okay. If I can, you can try. If I can answer, I will.
Confounding variables, sir. Confounding variables, how and some confusion about extraneous and confounding variables.
Okay. Okay. So you can ask it to be because this is on any qualitative research questions I can take.
So actually there is shortage of time.
Okay, fine. Sorry, I know that.
So thank you so
Thanks
much,
so
sir.
much for all the questions. It was really great.
Thank you so